Hi, welcome to the Jupiter and Uranus reading. I don't even know what that means. So with Jupiter and Uranus conjunction coming up, you guys have probably heard about this massive conjunction, and we're already within a degree of it. So we're feeling it now, and we're going to feel it, and this is going to be a lasting thing that's going to happen. So what is it? What's the big deal about all of it? You're probably feeling the energy already. And it's kind of like one of those quickening kind of energies. It's like one of those feelings where you know something big, like it feels like something big is going to happen. And the exact conjunction, Jupiter and Uranus conjunction, is happening Saturday, April 20th. Tomorrow, on Friday, we will have Mars sextile the conjunction. And I'm actually going to show you guys the chart and stuff. We're going to talk about each of the houses too. But I want to break down this conjunction. The last time it happened, the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction was in Aries. And it was in like April 2010, September 2010, and February 2011. And then before that, it's every 14 years. Before that, it was 1997, and it was in Aquarius. So it's a time of big chaos. It's a time of, if you think back, like I was just thinking about, like in 2010, like how chaotic my life was. I actually got a really great promotion. I was collaborating with a lot of people during that time. Yeah, there was a lot of really cool things that happened that year, but it was also a really, really chaotic time for me as well. And so this conjunction brings a ton of chaos into our lives. And wherever it is in your chart, in those themes that's going to be happening, we have this Mars sextile also that's happening. And we're going to feel the Mars sextile not only like it's starting today, going into Friday, and then into Saturday. And this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is making impacts. It's like a generational impact, right? So when we talk about Taurus, let's start from there. Let's talk about Taurus first. The sign of Taurus is associated with the second house in the astrology wheel, the natural second house, ruled by Venus, and is very much about material items, right? There's this desire, Taurians, they love to feel the spirit in things, right? Like that's the best way that I can say it, because they really, they love the way their environment looks, and they really like nice things, and they like the feel of nice clothing, and they love really great food and the textures of food. And like, it's not just about the food, it's about how it was prepared and the textures of it. And like, and they're very detail oriented when it comes to things that can feel very luxurious. Unfortunately, in this day and age, food has become a luxury for us, and housing has become a luxury for, like, basic needs have now become a luxury. And that's, one of those things that is has become really inflated under Jupiter and Uranus both being in Taurus. So Uranus has been in Taurus since 2018. Jupiter has been in Taurus since last year. Jupiter will ingress Gemini in May. So we're going to see a shift from the inflation and the expansion of all these material, fast fashion came with Jupiter and Uranus and Taurus, like, like easier ways to cook, faster ways to cook with the air fryer came with, Jupiter. It's like, it's almost as if with Jupiter and Uranus and Taurus, the luxury of time has been taken away. Basically, it's been kind of like ripped away. And then as we get into like nobody has time anymore. Everything is like really, really fast fashion, fast food. You know, it's like nobody has time to sit down and savor anything anymore. Nobody's doing that. And I see a lot of people desiring that, like wanting that slower life and wanting to, you know, live on the farm and grow their own food. And, you know, that is also a product of Jupiter and Uranus and Taurus. It's like there are two sides of this. And, you know, one side, we can see how the inflation of food and all of that is pulling people away from, you know, buying food in the market anymore. People want to have farms now. They want to, you know, have their own goats so they can have goat milk. They want to, you know, grow their own vegetables. They don't want to have to go to the grocery store and pay $3 for a head of lettuce anymore. You know what I mean? It's like I can get that out of the ground myself. Let me figure out how to do that instead. That's way more sustainable. Da 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 da. So there's, you know, there's always that divide. There's always that like, you know, when humanity tilts a little too far to one end, it tries to be like resuscitated on the other end. That's the only, it tries to like bring it back alive, right? It's like, you know, humans have a tendency to over exaggerate one side of things, and there's no balance, right? There's no moderation. That's, you know, that's why like preservatives are so insane. And also with Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus, we have also seen, you know, the protests and the banning of certain preservatives that cause cancer in our bodies, that are causing new cancers in our bodies every day. So there's a lot that's going on with this Jupiter and Uranus and Taurus. It's a lot about our basic needs in life, because the second house that's what that is, right? It's about how we care for ourselves. Taurus is very much the self-care button, right? It's, you know, and it's very much the you know, how do we feel about the money that we're making in the career that we have to buy all these material items that we have? How do we feel about our resources that we're doing, you know, and all of that? That's where, and so wherever Taurus sits in your chart, your resources that you provide for yourself are going to be in focus, and your environment is going to be in focus. There could be a lot of people that are like if Taurus is in your fourth house, you would be Scorpio Rising, I believe. Is that Taurus? Oh no, I'm sorry, that was wrong. It's Aquarius Rising with Taurus in the wow. So yeah, so if you're an Aquarius rising with Taurus in the fourth house, this could mean that you're moving. Libra risings with Taurus in the eighth house could mean that you're moving, because both of those also represent environmental. If you're an Aries rising with Taurus in your second house, this could mean that you're moving. Your environment is shifting, it's changing, it's expanding. Jupiter is the planet of expansion. You know, Jupiter rules Sagittarius and Pisces. And Jupiter doesn't have the boundaries like that Saturn has, right? But Jupiter still teaches us a lot. And a lot of the times with Jupiter, if you haven't learned the lesson, you don't really get the abundance. You don't get the productions from whatever lesson, you know, you don't get the prize from whatever lesson. I wouldn't really call it a prize. I wouldn't call like getting the answer or learning the lesson or anything like that. I wouldn't really call it a prize. I would just call it like, you know, living our life, being aligned to what we need to learn in our life. But with Jupiter, it's where we find our expansion and our optimism. And, you know, if you've ever met a Sagittarius, like Sagittarians cannot be broken. It's insane. It's like, which I love that Sagittarians cannot be broken. I'm a Sagittarius moon after all. My partner is a Sagittarius sun. We have a lot of Jupiter energy in this house. There's a lot of bouncing around and you know, we do our resting times too, but there's definitely more bouncy energy than there is like dragging energy in this house. And we expand ourselves outside of our environment so quickly and so fast. And that's what happens with Jupiter. The more you learn, the more you expand about yourself. And with Jupiter in Taurus, one of the things that we're having to learn is the appreciation of having, you know, like it's almost like we've had to learn how to appreciate the food that we eat, and we, you know, learn, like I've learned how to teach. I've taught myself how to make sourdough bread while Jupiter has been in Taurus. I have taught myself how to do, I've started doing diamond paintings again. I've become extremely creative. Taurus is the sign of creation, you know, creating and creation. It's the Empress in tarot, and the Hierophant. And the Hierophant is higher education and higher learning, and very much societal standards, and all of that. So you know, you may have found since last year you've been a little bit more creative than usual, than you usually are, or that you're just a little bit more tired. You know, Taurus is also that sign of self-care and rest. And, you know, so whatever it is that Jupiter has been showing you in particular, what you need to do for yourself while in the sign of Taurus, it's going to be expanded. And these are the gifts, right? Jupiter shows us our gifts as well. And these are the gifts that Uranus is going to utilize with this conjunction to make shifts and make changes. And the areas of your life will be in your money and your career and your material items, and could be your housing. Excuse me. There's a lot of, with this Uranus, there's a lot of not feeling very settled, right? Like the energy doesn't feel very settled with this Jupiter and Uranus conjunction. And then we're going to have Mars sextile. So with Mars sextile Jupiter and Uranus, we have this opportunity to take action. And, you know, whatever it is that we need to do to take action on making change in our life, making change happen in our life. And with Mars present here, the Jupiter and Uranus energy in itself is chaotic, like insanely chaotic. You add Mars into that, and you have that sextile there. And a sextile isn't like a sextile is not like a challenge, like a square. And a sextile is not, you know, a trine where it's just easy breezy and you don't have to do anything, and Mars is just going to run right into stuff. No, a sextile is where the things that you do are what's impactful to that Jupiter and Uranus. So, for example, you're out driving and you're not paying attention to your environment. Everything's really chaotic. Everybody else is being really chaotic. Bad things could happen. So slowing down, paying attention to your environment, making sure this whole weekend too, right? Like, I know it's Saturday. Saturday's 420. 420 has become a holiday in the US, not an official holiday, but for many, especially for those of us with pain. It's going to be really busy. Like, there are going to be parts of the cities that are going to be really, really busy. So just, you know, paying attention to the hustle and bustle of life and people and all the things that are going on around you in your environment. And excuse me, it may not be really easy to focus, but that's what you want to do. You want to allow yourself to focus on the things that you want to see change for your future. You want to allow yourself to focus on the things that, like, if you want to make a big impact for your future right now, do it. Now's the time to do it. Wow, it got really fuzzy. Sorry. There we go. Focus back. But now is the time to do it if you want to make a really big impact for your future. If you want to cause a reaction for your future benefit, now is the time to do that. So I wanted to read what the Sabian symbol is of this degree for Taurus, where we have the Jupiter and Uranus conjunction happening. And it's at the 21st and 22nd degree of Taurus. We're going to read the 22nd degree of Taurus because it's right there. So the Sabian symbols are a screen of prophecy, by the way. This is a prophecy from, I believe it was the early 1900s. The story is in the beginning of the book, and I forgot the date, but it is an astrologer and a mystic, a seer, right? And a psychic came together, and with each of the degrees of the zodiac, she was a blind psychic. With each of the degrees of the zodiac, she saw a vision, and it became a prophecy, the Sabian symbols. Taurus 22 is a white dove over troubled waters. The theme is a higher calling. This symbol speaks to the fact that every individual comes into the world with a spiritual mission or purpose that guides him, whether or not it is recognized. The image of a white dove over troubled water symbolizes divine protection, the triumph of spirit over matter, peace of mind, and the ability to transcend emotional turmoil and psychological stress. Implicit in this symbol is the freedom and strength that can be gained from listening to the inner voice for guidance and direction. The suggestion here is that the individual who knows his purpose and sets out to fulfill it will succeed. On a practical level, the symbol can represent peace or an end to war. Please, dear God, let that be the case, right? Dissension, enmity, or conflict. So the end to all of those things. Positive. At its highest, this symbol represents a strong sense of personal destiny and the ability to rise above superficial difficulties and keep focused on a goal until it's achieved. At its negative, it's confusion and lack of direction or absent-mindedness and daydreaming. It's very, very easy to get off focus right now, especially if we're not grounded. And like I stress being grounded and I stress being present in the body because that keeps us from going crazy. Like legitimately it does. It keeps you out of your head. It keeps you from overthinking. And that's one of the ways I've been able to really heal my mental health issues that I've had in my life is to remember to continue to be present in my body. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but it's a process, right? It's not something that happens overnight. So for this day on the 20th, the accent is on rising above difficulties and emotional stress. So rise above, rise above, rise above. Everybody thinks that rising above is a weakness, and it's not. Rising above is not a weakness, never has been. Your opportunities, your greatest advantage lies in minding your own business, working on your own goals. What did I say? And refusing to get involved in the problems of others. The risk is guarding against not paying attention or letting your mind wander. You may miss an important message. So focus. And it's very easy to get off focus right now because of that, because the energy is so chaotic and it's so incredibly potent and, you know, and the insanity of it. So allowing ourselves to remain present in our bodies, we can see the little messages. Like I said this to Henry this morning, we can see the little messages that are coming at us and taking the opportunities as that, you know, like if an opportunity shows up for you, take it. If you have a really intuitive message, listen to it, that kind of thing. Let's take a look at the charts. I want to show you guys the bunched up chart stuff that we have going right now. We have this new cool little layout too with me. I'm a floating body. Okay, so I have this on April 19th because I want to show you guys the Mars sextile, the conjunction. So for Aries rising, we have the conjunction happening in the second house, the natural second house. This is what, you know, Taurus is, represents the natural second house, and is naturally ruled by Venus. So for Aries risings, you could see, especially if you've been working on some really cool solo projects lately, you could see a boost in finances. You could see even like a promotion at work. This could mean that you are deciding that you want to buy a house. Maybe you've been working privately on, you know, because with Mars in your 12th house, there's a lot of solo projects and private stuff going on. However, with Saturn in your 12th house, you may not be really feeling so good about yourself, especially with Neptune here, like getting right there on the ascendant, real close to it. So, having this Mars sextile, this is really about showing up for yourself. If you want to see things improve in your environment, Aries, show up for yourself. And this can be for Aries sun as well, but Aries rising, show up for yourself during this time. Focus on what it is that you need to do for you, and everything else is going to fall into place. Okay. Taurus, Taurus rising, we have the Jupiter and Uranus conjunction happening in your first house. We see Mars here in your 11th house. So, with Mars and with having Saturn also here in the 11th house, you've probably, in a lot of ways, there's this like test of what do you want to see in your future? How do you want your, and like, who are you going to be collaborating with? Saturn in the 11th house has probably made your circle really, really small. And so this feels like a lot of collaboration efforts. I feel like, first of all, ever since Jupiter has been in your first house, you may have gained a little bit of weight because Jupiter expands. You're not the only person that that's happened to, I promise. That also happens when Jupiter is in your fourth house. That happened to me when Jupiter was in my fourth house. But nonetheless, having Jupiter in your first house with Uranus in your first house, there could be some things when it comes to your physical body that you need to pay attention to. You also may decide that you want to change how other people perceive you. This may be like how you are collaborating differently, how you're putting yourself out into the world differently, how you are having like the access, right? Like the access for others. It could just be this perception. You're changing, there's this perception change that's happening for you. We also have the sun at 29 degrees while all of this is happening, and it's almost on your, it's almost in Taurus, right? So we're almost at Taurus season, which happens on Friday. We're just a couple of seconds away, right? And with that comes even more stepping into yourself and stepping into who you are. If you're in a place in your life where you're kind of looking at yourself and you're like, I don't even want to be where I am, now's the time to change it. Now's the time to make changes for that. Gemini rising, you can see here that you have Jupiter and Uranus hanging out in your 12th house, the house of the unknown. You can also see now, as we've jumped forward, the sun is in your 12th house as well. So having Jupiter and Uranus in your 12th house has probably brought a lot of unexpected surprises to you, unexpected shifts, unexpected changes. The 12th house is really, really unknown. So you've had to probably look inside for, like, Jupiter in the 12th house wants you to see those inner gifts. Jupiter in the 12th house wants you to recognize your own power without the outside world telling you what that looks like. This may have been like you know, having to kind of be a hermit for the last couple of years in your own abode. But in a big way, it's preparing you for the outside world, getting into the outside world. When Jupiter moves into Gemini in May, you're going to start expanding. It's like you're coming out of hermit mode, and all of those gifts that you recognized about yourself while Jupiter was in the 12th house are now going to be out in the daylight. It's going to be out in the, everybody's going to be able to see it now. So there's going to be this perception of you that's going to be different. And I think that this, in a lot of ways, changed who you were on the inside. And you might have made some decisions in your life that are bringing you to a point where also your career and your purpose is kind of being impacted with all of this. So Mars being in your 10th house, with Saturn there in your 10th house, there's some career focus, some career changes, getting really, really serious about what you want to do for your career right now. That sextile to Jupiter this is a Jupiter and Uranus conjunction. This is a really, really great time to work with the energies, not fight against them, but work with them to kind of see the stuff happen and see the stuff come about in your life that needs to happen. All right. Cancer Rising. Cancer Rising, we see the Jupiter and Uranus conjunction in your 11th house, which probably means that you have seen shifts and changes with your social circle. This could be on the internet, like social media circle. You could be, there could have been like a lot of your social media circle or your social circle could have gotten really, really big during this time. But this is really, and it's expansion. There's a lot of it. You're learning so many things, and what you're learning, you are allowing yourself to expand for your future. Everything that you're learning right now and all of the stuff you are creating towards your expansion, right? Towards like, I want to be a better person. I want to learn something more. I want to, learn more about myself. I want to learn more about other humans, like whatever it is that you've decided to learn. Because with Saturn here in the 9th house, there's probably been this, feeling like you just want to learn more. You sort of are being like a sponge of learning more and learning more and learning more. Having this Mars push there, it's like everything that I'm learning, I'm applying to the expansion of my future. Okay. And it really helps with collaborations. You've probably met people that have been really wise teachers for you as well during this and in your social circle. And your social circle has probably changed a lot because you've changed a lot. Just be careful of how that change is also happening too. And so this Mars sextile Jupiter and Uranus for you really wants, and it's going to be hard to focus because I feel like there's a lot of activity for you around this, but like whatever it is that you want to see for your future right now, that's what your focus is. That's what you want to be doing. And if that's learning more or just taking action on the things that you want to do, this also feels like you might want to travel. I don't know if you want to travel right now because it's Mercury retrograde, but and we also see Mercury and Venus conjunct here tomorrow as well. There's a lot going on tomorrow on the 19th. There's a lot going on. So yeah, so this is a lot. This is good for traveling, just expanding. Anything that's going to teach you more that you can learn to make your future bigger and brighter. But again, you want to slow down. This is a lot of, everybody wants to slow down, but for you guys, especially, make sure you're paying attention to your environment. So Leo Rising, we have the Jupiter and Uranus conjunction in your 10th house, and we have that Mars sextile in your 8th house. So this looks like collaboration work. I feel like some things really had to end. The 8th house is about other people's resources, and it may have been that you've this is like changing jobs for you. You may find that you're changing jobs, or you may find that you're getting a promotion, or you may find that there's just something about, or you could even find that the job, the promotion that you have is changing your environment as well. But like whatever has happened positively for your career, or whatever is happening with your career, it's also changing how you utilize resources with other people. So it's like, it's whether your career has changed and you need help from other people, or your career has blossomed and you don't need help from other people. But there's some kind of action that you're taking where you are, there's this utilizing more energy from the work that you're doing. And it could also just like whatever's happening in your career life is changing it's just changing your life in some way. And I feel like it's very environmental. For Virgo rising, we have the Jupiter and Uranus conjunction in the 9th house, and we have Mars in the 7th house. So especially because Saturn has been in your 7th house, there has been a lot of lessons when it comes to relationships and collaborating with relationships. This looks like collaborations. This looks like you've probably been wanting to learn a lot, and you've probably, met some new spiritual teachers during this time. This could be that you are expanding and growing within your belief system in a lot of ways. Your belief systems could be changing a lot right now. And your belief systems could be changing also because of your relationships. It might be that you're taking action on, it could be even that you're like traveling because of a relationship or something like that during this time, and that's expanding you. But we learn about ourselves and we expand ourselves through our relationships as well. And that's where a really big trigger is for you right now, especially because we have that Venus and Mercury in the 8th house conjunction happening. But there's this expansion energy going on for you, and it's directly, the focus is like, I'm expanding myself and I'm making myself better, and that like the relationships that will be in my life will be because of the way that I'm expanding and making myself better. You could also find that you move a really long distance too, especially with Uranus still there. There could just be a lot of you want to be careful. Sorry, I'm going to go back to that Virgo rising. You want to be careful with that Jupiter and Uranus in your 9th house of, you want to make sure that you're staying grounded every single day, that you're staying grounded, because you can get very psychotic, like psychosis level with that Jupiter and Uranus there in the 9th house and in the 12th house too. You can kind of become a little bit like, the ideals are bigger than the reality of things. And so, a lot of times we can, like, if we're not grounded, we're like making up stories in our head that aren't actually happening. And so there's very real, I got to talk about things like that because that's literally happened in the spiritual community recently, the psychosis of spirituality. So we want to make sure we're talking about that stuff too. Libra rising. So the Libra rising, we will have, I say we, I'm a Libra rising, Henry's Libra rising. We will have Jupiter and Uranus conjunction in our 8th house, and we have Mars in the 6th house. So this really focus that we have is directly focused with work, and other people's resources and the way that our life is changing right now. So our lives could be changing around other people's resources. Like, for example, Henry and I are planning a move to New York. Right now is during the planning period. By the time Jupiter is in the 9th house, we will be moving a long distance to another place, right? So the astrology is like really on point for that. So this could be changing your life. It could be changing the resources that you get from other people. usually Jupiter in the 8th house is very beneficial for others, and it could be in like receiving gifts and all of those things as well. So you know, the impact that you have on other people right now could change the resources that are, you know, that come to you, right? It could change your environment, the way that your environment looks. Henry and I had a really weird thing. We both get food benefits from the state of Colorado, and his just ended. Like, no notice. They were supposed to do an interview with him and they did not do it in time. And with no notice, his food benefits ended. And that's like substantial for us. That's a really substantial thing for us. So sometimes this Jupiter and Uranus conjunction can do negative things and then turn around and it be like a surprise on the other end. Don't know what that surprise is going to turn into. Hopefully it's in our benefit, but it's really annoying. So so the 6th house talks about the day-to-day routines, right? Our daily routines, the people that we talk to daily, our health, our food habits, our coworkers, the job that we do, things like that. So taking action on the responsibilities that you have on a day-to-day basis. Like for me, I have to take action on taking care of my physical and my health, and that is my priority mostly, right? But I also have responsibilities I want to, you know, with work as well. So doing that is going to make a change in a positive way, or a shift in a positive way somehow. But having this Mars sextile gives me the opportunity to focus on whatever it is that I need to do in order to make a change in my life. The 8th house is also very much about the occult, all the taboo topics and stuff, like, you know, all of those things as well. So, you know, death and rebirth and astrology and tarot and like all of the things that kind of give people the ick. So you could find that you just learn some really valuable lessons, Libra. You could learn some really valuable lessons around any of those topics. But I think the most impactful, because it's Jupiter and Uranus, I think the most impactful is going to be with money and resources. All right. And then we have Scorpio Rising. So Scorpio Rising, we will see Jupiter and Uranus in your 7th house, and we will see Mars in your 5th house. This very much looks like relationship changes, and the way that relationships have taught you and expanded you and, changed you. You could even find that there is a special relationship, or like one particular relationship that has changed and expanded who you are. And you may also find that you could meet someone during this time. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, this could be a really huge time for you to meet someone, or you could you could learn other things that you don't want to see. Like, there's this focus of like, what do I want to see in relationships and what do I not want to see in relationships? If you're finding that you're a little obsessed about wanting relationship, like having all of this relationship stuff in front of you, if you find that perfectly normal right now, nothing wrong with thinking about like, what do I want to have in my relationships? Just don't over extend yourself with it. But definitely, and this could also be a time that you meet someone that you never in your wildest dreams thought that you would be attracted to, and you are. And it might annoy you a little bit, but it's teaching you something. Also a really good time to be creative. Let's not forget about that. I know having Saturn in the 5th house is hard in the creative art, but collaborating with other people can really help bring out that creativity with you as well. Sagittarius Rising, you will have the Jupiter and Uranus conjunction in your 6th house, and you have Mars in your 4th house. So the 6th house is about the daily routine that we have, our routine that we have every single day, the rituals that we keep every day. our health rituals, or the foods that we eat, talks about our jobs and our coworkers that we talk to. You could find that there are changes and shifts that are happening in your job. You could find your job is really chaotic right now. You could find also that there are things that are happening in your job that are affecting your personal life. So you may find that whatever you're doing right now, that's a really great time to also learn. So if you're like expanding your knowledge for your job, or you're learning new things for your job, that is also affecting your most private life. So you may find that that expansion, like you get a promotion, or you decide that you want to change jobs and you get a better job. And then you decide, oh, wow, well, I've got a better job. Now I want a better place to live, or I want to live somewhere else. But somehow it's affecting your private life. You could also meet someone while you're out doing your daily routine. If you go to the gym, this could be a time where you meet someone as well. I know that sounds really weird, but I had to say it, popped up in my mind. But you know, having those shifts and stuff, and a lot of times you may find that you get like a promotion, and then you don't like the rules of the promotion. Like you become a manager and now you got to fire people. You don't like to fire people. You want the manager, you want to be a manager, you want the money. You like the idea of being in charge, but now you got to fire someone, right? Like that could also happen. Personal life, right? That personal feelings. Got to take action on it. Capricorn Rising. Capricorn Rising, we have, I love that you guys have Taurus in your 5th house. Like, how lucky are you? My mom is a Capricorn Rising. She's always been a very creative woman. She used to bedazzle things when I was little. She would bedazzle sunglasses and jackets. She would buy jean jackets and bedazzle jean jackets. I should do that and then sell them. I'm going to bring that back. That's an 80s thing. Go to the thrift stores and find jean jackets and bedazzle. I think I might do that. Don't steal that idea. Bring back my mom's things. So having Jupiter and Uranus in your 5th house is really bringing a creative side to you. You may find that you've had a lot of shifts and changes when it comes to your children, or you know, you having to see life in a much lighter way and not being so stressed out and stern about life all the time. We have the Mars sextile from your 3rd house to your 5th house. So the way that you're communicating and the way that you're taking action in your daily life is directly affecting your personal space and how you feel about yourself and the things that you're doing right now. So if you don't have a lot of energy right now, or you're not really doing a lot of things right now, then this is probably not feeling really, really good, having this conjunction here, because this is trying to shift you into a more expanded and more evolved, you know, energy. And if you're not able to do that for yourself, it can be really, really difficult. So Capricorn Rising, what you want to do is, you know, like this is a really great time to start, I don't know, like I feel like there's something like you can start doing every single day that can make you feel like you're learning something new and you're doing something new. Like things are changing in your daily life, in your personal life, and in your expression. This has probably really helped with your creative expression as well. So taking action on that could also help your career and boost a lot of the, you know, anything that you've been wanting to do and you just haven't done it yet. Like, I don't know, writing, like maybe you want to write right now. Maybe there's some kind of writing that you want to do. Of course, also this is based on your own chart too, but you know, like anything that you want to do creatively right now is really going to boost your expression and like putting yourself out there into the world. There will be people that receive it, I promise. Aquarius Rising, we have the Jupiter and Pluto conjunction in your 4th house, and we have Mars in your 2nd house. So this very much has to do with your environment in a big way, may have to do with your career and also your personal space. and how you really express yourself, how you feel about that. If you may find that you are expanding outside of your environment right now, your own personal like four walls that you're in, and it's time for you to move into another space. You may find that you get like career opportunities during this time. You could get a promotion during this time. But whatever's happening in your career life or whatever's happening, it's also affecting your environment, your personal environment in a big way. That could also mean your attitude, your inner world. So whatever's happening with your, and so if you are not really liking where you are career wise, there's a lesson there. Time to, you've got to be responsible for yourself. And if you're not really liking your career, then that may be coming out at home, and you could be really irritable at home. But also you could find that just kind of taking action for yourself is establishing your own personal life even more. Like you're finding this freedom and individuality, which is a lot of what Jupiter and Uranus is. There's this freedom and expansion that's wanted. Then we have the third house for Pisces. Last but certainly not least, we have this freedom expression in the third house, this Jupiter and Uranus conjunction, and then Mars is in your first house. So this very much is a freedom expression for you, Pisces. The things that you're doing every single day, you've probably found a lot of creative in your neighborhood, in your own local neighborhood. You've probably found a lot of creative pursuits, a lot of creative things to do in your own space, in your own neighborhood. And and breaking out of not wanting, this could have, like, you could have even become an entrepreneur for yourself too, like breaking out of like a humdrum kind of routine, something that you don't want to do, starting way back in 2018. And with this Mars in the first house, the way that you see yourself, the energy that you have for yourself, and the energy that you put out into the world is affecting this Jupiter and Uranus conjunction. So I feel like this is a really creative aspect for you. I feel like there's something super, super big that's going to come of it. I feel like it's almost like somebody's going to recognize you in this way. For some reason, that's how this feels for me, Pisces Rising. I feel like someone's going to recognize you and see your efforts, and something big will happen for you. So that would be pretty cool. And that's what we have for that. So here we go, you guys. I hope you have a really wonderful weekend with this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. And I will see you guys really soon. Thanks for hanging out with me. Bye.